Rock and roll didn't appear out of thin air. It was built by pioneers, artists who blended blues, jazz, country, and raw electricity into something the world had never heard before. And when it comes to shaping that sound, Chuck Berry stands at the very top. His playing on classics like Johnny B. Goode and Maybelline didn't just influence guitarists, it created the entire language of rock music. Berry understood rhythm, lead, groove, and showmanship like few ever have. He knew exactly what separated a decent player from a true innovator. So, when Chuck Berry revealed the 10 guitarists he admired most, musicians everywhere paid attention. But this wasn't a typical fan list. Berry had studied the blues masters firsthand. He saw the birth of electric guitar culture with his own eyes. And he valued a very specific combination of skills: originality, melodic intelligence, emotional expression, and the ability to connect with an audience, live and loud. So here it is. Chuck Berry's top 10 guitarists, explained by Legends Uncovered. 1. Django Reinhardt. At the very top of Chuck Berry's list, above blues masters, innovators, and rock pioneers, stands Django Reinhardt. The reason? Sheer genius. After a fire left him with only 2 usable fingers on his fretting hand, Reinhardt reinvented guitar technique entirely. His work with the Hot Club of France showcased staggering speed, unmatched melodic creativity, and a joyful swing that could lift an entire room. Berry was in awe of Django's resilience and originality. Reinhardt didn't just play guitar, he created a whole new genre: gypsy jazz. To Berry, Django proved that true musical genius can overcome any obstacle and still rewrite history. 2. Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson recorded only 29 songs, yet those recordings became the foundation of modern blues and rock. Berry was fascinated by Johnson's ability to weave rhythm and lead lines into one seamless performance. Johnson seemed to create an entire band out of a single guitar. The mystery surrounding Johnson's life only added to his influence. His recordings carry an intensity that feels almost supernatural. Berry considered Johnson a required study for every guitarist. Johnson died at 27, but his shadow stretches across every genre, from blues to rock to folk. Bind to 3, Scotty Moore. Where would rock and roll be without Scotty Moore? His playing behind Elvis Presley on That's Alright, Mystery Train, and Hound Dog shaped the entire early rock guitar vocabulary. Berry recognized Moore as a true partner in the birth of rock and roll. Scotty's blend of country picking, blues phrasing, and rhythmic drive made him one of the most influential guitarists of the 20th century. Moore created riffs that were accessible enough for young players, yet deep enough to reward serious study. And his sound paired perfectly with Elvis's voice. For Berry, Scotty Moore was a fellow pioneer. 4. Elmore James. If you've ever heard the opening riff to Dust My Broom, you know exactly why Elmore James made this list. That explosive slide guitar tone became one of the most recognizable sounds in blues history. James didn't play gently. His guitar roared with distortion and power long before rock musicians adopted the sound. Berry loved that intensity. Elmore wasn't trying to be pretty or polite. His slide work was wild, emotional, and larger than life. Elmore James proved that blues guitar could be just as aggressive and electrifying as rock and roll. 5. B.B. King. B.B. King didn't play many chords. He didn't rely on flash or speed. Yet he moved millions with just a handful of perfectly chosen notes. His guitar, Lucille, practically sang with a human voice. His bend and vibrato technique became the standard every blues player still studies today. Berry admired King's emotional honesty. Songs like The Thrill Is Gone and Sweet Little Angel show that 3 notes, played with heart, can be more powerful than a blinding flurry of technique. B.B. King proved that soul triumphs over speed, and Chuck Berry deeply respected that. 6. Les Paul. Les Paul wasn't just a guitar player. He was an inventor, a scientist of sound, and one of the most innovative musicians in history. He developed the solid-body electric guitar, pioneered multi-track recording, and explored tape effects that shaped modern music production. Berry admired Les Paul's relentless curiosity. Paul could blaze across the fretboard at incredible speed, yet always keep the music melodic and accessible. His recordings with Mary Ford remain a masterclass in studio creativity. Berry reportedly said Les Paul gave musicians the tools to build rock and roll, and he was right. 7. Charlie Christian. No single guitarist did more to modernize electric guitar soloing than Charlie Christian. His work with Benny Goodman brought the guitar from the background to the forefront of jazz. Christian played long, flowing melodic lines that sounded almost like a horn. Barry studied Christian's recordings obsessively. In Christian, he heard originality, musical intelligence, and a sense of adventure. It amazed Barry that Christian accomplished all of this before passing away at just 25 years old. If you listen to early rock and roll, jazz phrasing is everywhere. That influence? Charlie Christian. 8. T-Bone Walker. T-Bone Walker was electrified sophistication. Long before rock stars were duck-walking or windmilling their guitars, T-Bone was bending notes behind his head, dropping to his knees, and dazzling audiences with effortless flair. His playing on the Gibson ES5 blended jazz chords with smooth blues phrasing. Call It Stormy Monday remains one of the most beautiful blues recordings ever made. Barry admired Walker not only for his musical depth, but for his ability to entertain without losing quality. T-Bone proved you could deliver both technical mastery and unforgettable showmanship, something Barry would later perfect. 9. Muddy Waters. If Lonnie Johnson brought sophistication, Muddy Waters brought raw electricity. Muddy transformed Delta blues into Chicago blues, powering it with his thick, gritty slide guitar. Songs like Hoochie Coochie Man and Manish Boy became anthems of confidence and command. Barry watched Muddy perform in the Chicago clubs and felt the force of his presence. Muddy didn't just play the guitar, he led with it. His tone was loud, unapologetic, and overflowing with emotion. And that leadership quality is what Barry valued most. Muddy made electric blues feel dangerous and alive. His influence didn't stop in the blues world. It carved the path for rock guitarists everywhere. 10. Lonnie Johnson. Lonnie Johnson was one of the first musicians to treat the guitar as a serious lead instrument back in the 1920s and 1930s. His smooth, clean single-string solos became the blueprint for future blues and jazz players. Barry absorbed Johnson's style intensely. He once suggested that Johnson showed how a guitar solo could unfold like a spoken sentence, beginning, middle, and end. No wasted notes, no mindless repetition, just pure melody. Johnson's work with Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington proved he could glide between genres effortlessly. His tone was warm, expressive, and emotionally mature. Barry admired how Johnson balanced sophistication with soul, showing that blues guitar could be just as refined as any horn section. Lonnie Johnson didn't need volume or distortion, he had ideas, and his influence echoes through every era of guitar music.